Hi, everyone. I'm going live both on Facebook and Instagram today on behalf of 52 Hike Challenge. Thank you all for joining us. I am going to be sharing some summer hiking safety tips with you all today. I just wanted to give everyone a few moments to join us for lunch today as we sit down and talk about summer hiking and just tips because it's really hot in a lot of places here in the US. And we really wanted to ensure that everyone is getting out there safely and knows some of the tips we're going to talk about. So, hi, everyone on Instagram, and nice to see you all. We are going to be chatting about summer hiking safety. And I'm just going to give everyone a few moments who's joining us on either Facebook or on Instagram. So my name is Karla. I am one of the co-founders of the 52 Hike Challenge. And it is a wonderful time to get ready for hiking in the evenings. We're going to talk about a lot of great little tips. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started. First and foremost, I wanted to thank everyone who has joined us and thank our sponsors, Oboz, REI, and TechNew, who help us to do this really incredible work here at 52 Hike Challenge. So hi, everyone. Okay, so everyone who's on Instagram, you won't be able to see the presentation. If you are interested in seeing the presentation, go onto our Facebook page right now, join us there where the presentation will be, will actually be being shared at, okay? So for you, you'll just hear me and feel free to ask your questions on the chat as well on Facebook Live, ask your questions. I'll go into that later. I also wanted to ask you all to let us know where you're joining from. If you're doing the challenge, where are you joining us from? And in addition to where you're joining us from, what hike number are you on this year? I love seeing that. I love seeing where everyone's joining us from. All right, so without further ado, let's jump in and talk about our agenda. So we're going to talk a little bit about hydration, clothing and gear, general tips, and then altitude, shade, and some heat concerns that you should be aware of. By the way, feel free to pass this information on to your friends and family who are new to hiking. I think one of the biggest reasons people get in trouble out there is because they're new to hiking. They don't know what they need, what they don't know. And we're going to record this and put it onto YouTube. So once we're done, we're going to be sharing the link in the newsletter that we send out. So also, if you're not subscribed to our newsletter, make sure you do that. If you go to our website, you can scroll down and find the newsletter, subscribe. All right, so let's talk about hydration first and foremost. It is so important that you think about hydration, especially during summer hiking. Before you start hiking, and depending on the kind of hike you're going to be on, make sure you're hydrating a few days before, especially if you're going to be doing like a longer hike. The National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine suggest that you should be having 11 cups of fluid a day if you're a woman, or 16 cups a day for men. I know that's a lot of water. That's what their suggestions are. So think about it. In the heat, you're going to need a lot more. So during your hike, make sure you carry at least 2 to 3 liters of water, especially now that it's summertime, and even more in the heat. Do not forget the importance of electrolytes. Super, super important. For example, the National Park Service says you should have 1.5 to 1 quart, which is almost a liter of fluids every hour that you're hiking in the heat. Another good tip when you're hiking is to check on your water at some point, and once it's halfway, turn around, okay? That's super important. You never want to get caught out there without your water. Really important. After your hike, make sure that you continue hydrating and drinking those electrolytes. You need to replenish the salts and the fluid that you lost, that evaporated in the heat, but you really lost on your hike. So one of the things that can happen, and I don't know if you're aware of this, is a condition called hyponatremia. I don't know if I said that right, but hyponatremia is when you drink too much water. Like you think that I'm going to drink a lot of water, I'm going to be good when I'm hiking, but in reality, you drank too much water, and that can actually cause you to get sick and tons of other issues. So please be mindful of that. If you start feeling really sick and you've been drinking a lot of water, it's time to take a break, call for assistance, start heading out. Hopefully that never happens to you, but be aware of that. That does happen. And just knowing the importance of having electrolytes. You can do that through having salty snacks on the trail. You can bring trail mix, nut butter, drink those electrolyte drink mixes. So some of the ones that I like include, you can do like the salt stick capsules. You can have the noon tablets, which you put into your water bottle, or I like a product called Vitalite, and also good old fashioned coconut water. So just make sure that when you're going to be hiking in the heat, that you also are replenishing those electrolytes. All right, for people on Instagram, if you want to go onto Facebook, we have a presentation there that you can actually visually see. All right, so let's talk about clothing, and some of the things that for summertime you're going to want to consider is different types of clothing. You're not going to want to wear the same stuff that you're wearing, obviously, during the fall, winter time, of course. But some of the tips include wearing light colored clothing. Super, super important to have like khaki colored items, super light grays, things like that. You want your clothing to be breathable and loose. You also want clothing that has ventilation in it. And believe it or not, even though we think like, I want to go out in shorts and a tank, that's actually not your best bet. You should actually cover up. And if you're wearing the right clothing that is super lightweight, even though you're covered up, you will be cool. For example, outdoor research does do clothing that actually has some cooling materials included in that. So that's an option for you, right? And they also have, I mean, other brands as well have UPF clothing. So that means it keeps you protected from the sun. Be mindful that only because you have clothing on, that doesn't mean that the sun rays are not penetrating. So something I've noticed is if I'm going to be in the sun for a long time, I still should apply sunscreen. So you should make sure that you're doing that as well. So cover your body up. I know the other day I was actually wearing shorts, and I was hiking, and I walked through some bushes, actually stinging nettle. And I was like, man, I wish I would have had pants on. So not only does it keep the sun out and protects you from the sun, but you can avoid, bumping into things like that stinging nettle that might be out there, in addition to other poisonous plants. Also, summertime might mean more bugs, and people do not like bugs. You can also find clothing that has bug repellent already in it. But if you don't have that, you can also bring like a bug net, wear that over your hat. It's pretty easy to purchase. They have different ones, but just buy a bug net, keep it in your backpack. It's super small and compact. Another quick tip, and something that I love that has really helped me on my hikes, has been a cooling wrap. So there's a brand out there. I'm actually drawing a blank right now. I'll have to find their name later in the as we go through questions. But anyways, you put that cooling wrap in water, and then it has these beads that as you put it on, it keeps you cool. And I know for me, I can easily overheat. So having something like that, a bandana that you wet, even keeping that bandana in the fridge and put it in water and take it on your hike and take it out when you start getting hot. You can also add water to that and just cool yourself down, pat your head down, just constantly being mindful of your own body, and how you react to the sun is really important. So that's a really cool tip. And then don't forget to treat your clothing with something like permethrin, which can help keep the bugs away. So those are some tips on clothing. Now we're going to jump into some basic general tips when it comes to hiking outside, so in the sun and during the summertime. All right, so first thing is, before you're going to go on your hike, don't forget to check the weather. That's going to be super, super important. Try to avoid hiking during the hot and heat time of the day, usually from noon to 3. That could go up to 5 in some places, depending on where you are. Be mindful that if it's going to be over 85 degrees outside, you may want to reconsider your hike. So go earlier in the day, maybe before like 7 or 8 when it starts getting a lot warmer, 9 a.m. But start thinking about going really early in the morning where it's going to be cooler, or go later in the day after 5. And I love hikes that are like those sunset hikes. So I prefer to hike in the evenings. Even in the mornings, sometimes I find that it gets hot really quickly. So making those adjustments for when to hike is really important. Don't forget, like I said earlier, to bring salty foods to eat. You can bring chips, pretzels, popcorn, and you can also consider doing full moon or night hikes. However, you do need to check with your park to make sure that they are open and they do allow that, because there are parks that close at sunset, and you want to make sure that you're following the park rules. I talked to a ranger a long time ago, and I asked them, like, well, why are there hours, like this, and why can't we just go after these times? And she explained to me that our use of the park actually impacts the animals and how they either hunt or their own schedule. So that made a lot of sense. And I was like, okay, I get it now. So just make sure you check with your park. And, don't forget to carry your bug spray with you. Don't forget to bring your Technu detox wipe for the poisonous plants. Like I said, I recently ran into stinging nettle, and it actually helped to heal the immediate sting. So, as you're getting out there, don't forget that you might come across things that, like bugs and poisonous plants. Make sure you can have a water filter as a backup in case you feel like you might not have enough water with you. But like I said, always check your water halfway through. And then if once you're halfway through your water, turn around. Make sure to find ways to stay cool, whether you're looking for hikes that have trees, coverage, or maybe you're walking in areas that have bodies of water, whether you're by like the beach or you're by a lake. So you can cool off, right? Like you can cool off, or, one of the other tips is hiking up at elevation. That can be a really helpful way to reduce that sun exposure. So those are some quick general tips. So the other thing is to be aware of heat exhaustion and heat stroke. And this one I think is really important for everyone to be aware of, because the last thing you want is to be in a situation where your body isn't doing well and then, you get into trouble. So also knowing these situations for people that might be hiking with you. Okay. So one of the things is that if you start feeling a headache when you're out hiking in the heat of the day or during the summertime, try to find a cool place so you can take a break, drink some water, and rest. Okay. And if 15-20 minutes pass and it hasn't gone away, then it's time to, you may need to rest longer, or you might need help. Okay, so knowing the difference of heat exhaustion and heat stroke, I'm going to read these off. Heat exhaustion, you might feel faint, dizzy, anxious, anxiety and confusion, excessive sweating, fast, weak pulse, nausea, vomiting, cold, clammy skin, and muscle cramps. Again, take a break, try to get cool, and drink water. Heat stroke is a little bit different because you're going to have a throbbing headache, but some of the other ones are very similar. You might have anxiety and confusion. The sweating is no longer, it's going to stop. You're going to have a fast, strong pulse. You may have nausea or vomiting, hot, red, or dry skin, and then obviously, like, God forbid, a loss of consciousness. And that one is obviously going to be something where you need to call 911, move someone to a cool area, and try to give them a lot of ice, cool drinks, or even ice if you have available for them. But that's probably, yeah, those are some of the tips, being aware and that's why we also recommend trying to always carry like some form of GPS unit if possible. All right. So with that, I just wanted to let you guys know that starting September 1, we do have our fall series, which is going to be our new challenge of 30 hours outdoors, 3 months time period. And you can learn more on our website, 52hikechallenge.com. With that, I'm going to leave it open for questions. So both on Facebook and Instagram, go ahead and feel free to ask any questions you've got. I'm going to try my best to check in on Facebook here. It looks like I have some comments here. Someone's planning to take a hike in Ireland next August and wants to know some tips from preparation. Okay, so yeah, I mean, obviously, Suzanne, there's so much to plan, right? Like you need to have your map, you need to have your trek schedule, your trek plan, or what itinerary, what trails you're gonna take. You're definitely gonna want to download those maps in advance if you're using something like All Trails, printed map always in a Ziploc bag, making sure that you're preparing yourself for physical fitness, whatever you need for that trek, depending on how long your hike is going to be, and also the weather, checking the weather, making sure you have the right clothing. We always say prepare for the weather. We like to tell everyone to carry a rain jacket just as a backup because you never know, the weather could change when you're outdoors. So I think those are some great ways to get you started. Let me know if you have any other questions. Let's see. Let's see what else we've got here on our Instagram. Hi, everyone. So we're talking about summer hiking and safety tips. It was a pretty short presentation. Just wanted to make sure everyone's staying safe out there. And I'm going to check. Cheryl said, I just wanted to say that I love these shorter challenges. Yeah, I mean, we've recognized not everyone can commit to, 52 hikes. So definitely wanted to make sure that we were mindful of that. So yeah, hopefully, yeah, where is everyone joining from? Let us know where you're joining from. That would be great. Yeah, the tropical trio on Instagram. Great tip. Thank you so much. Actually, I do not recommend you bring your pets hiking when it's hot. My dog overheats really quickly. But if your dog is going to join you and you know that they're okay in the heat, make sure you bring water for them as well. In addition to making sure that you are bringing a first aid kit for your pet as well and everything they need for that care. That's really important for sure. So thank you so much for that tip. I will add a note on pets to my presentation here. It looks like we have some people joining from Phoenix, Florida. Dara is on hike 29. Oh, thanks so much, Just Trek. Irvine, we have West LA in the house. Yeah, definitely need a first aid kit for your dog if you're going to be bringing him or her or them on your hike. And it looks like we've got some people joining us from Connecticut, Pennsylvania. Wonderful. I love it. Yeah, so that's kind of it. That's kind of it for the presentation. It was short, sweet. I wanted to really quickly connect with you all. And if you did join the summer challenge, because we did have a 2-month challenge, we just got our patches in, so you could see it there. Now we only have a limited amount of these left. The challenge for summer was, oh yeah, wait, for Facebook, it's kind of like inverted a little bit there. You could take a quick look. Yeah, the summer challenge was 20 hours between July 1 and ends August the 20, I believe, 7th. So I've been having fun on that. And basically it's 2.5 hours every week. Just spend 2.5 hours outdoors walking or hiking and it counts. Hi, Dara from New York. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to let you all enjoy the rest of your lunch. I will be publishing this presentation on YouTube. So be on the lookout for that. And please share with your friends. Like I said, a lot of people, one of the top reasons people get rescued is because they don't have enough water, or really that's the main one. So be mindful, like, please bring your water, please bring your electrolytes, please bring your 10 essentials, and let's be safe out there. And yeah, without further ado, I will say goodbye, and we will see you on the trails. Thank you so much.